All right, guys, we're going to do a little quick midweek update. It is, let me look, Thursday. So, good time to kind of show you what we've got done for the week and where we're at. So, this one just got spray foamed. Depending on the interior finish, sometimes we fur these out. But either way, you've got kind of a recess area here on the container doors where you can spray foam. If you want to go thicker, it's about 1.5 inches. Inch and 3/4. If you want to go thicker, you can fur that out. So depending on the type of interior finish, you can go straight into the door here and here. These are hollow. We always or never try to penetrate the exterior skin of the container. So you can go straight into those two side posts. You can also fur across here horizontally, however you want to handle that. But this container just got spray foamed, and as I've said many times, we spray under the floor. There's a 2-inch truss about every foot under the floor, so we put a good 2-3 inches under the floor as well. This floor is much draftier in the summer and the winter than you'd expect, so insulating the floor is a must, and we just get that up on cribbing and spray under there. So I did get a picture of the container floor prior to us spraying. So if you haven't seen the underside of a container before, check my other videos or I'll post a picture of that. And I mentioned this previously, this one's getting Romex, so wires are going inside the walls. I personally prefer conduit, but a lot of the customers prefer Romex. And Romex is actually way faster and cheaper than conduit. I don't know what the public perception is of Romex versus conduit. I think some people actually think conduit's cheaper, but it is what it is. I like the conduit for future flexibility. This, if we were to drill, so this corrugation jogs, you can see that there, the jogs, it's about 2-inch jogs. On the inner jogs of the corrugation, we've got about 1.5 inches. On the outer jogs, we've got, almost 3.5 inches of spray foam. For the application where this container might draw, $40 to $60 worth of power per month, if you doubled the spray foam insulation, you might see a reduction in the energy bill by maybe $5, $60 a year. But if you doubled the insulation and got this up to, let's say, 5 inches and filled these studs out, you wouldn't really gain anything. We're about R14 or better right now. You're just spraying a lot of foam. You need to charge the customer for that. I can't really justify charging the customer for another $1,500 worth of foam that it may make it 10% more efficient or something to that effect. So where we're at right now, 3 inches is really solid closed cell spray foam application. So we're going to stick with that. We don't need to fill these studs up. These studs are also off the walls a hair. So it's thicker than you think, but I can hole saw through the exterior of the container, and it's about 3 inches on average. Closed cell spray foam efficiency drops off after you keep spraying on more than 2 inches. So, but I understand if you're building $1 million house or something, yeah, go ahead and spray it all you want. So this is Romex, and we're doing the bead board. Comment, let me know what you guys think about this. It's said you guys probably know what beadboard is, but that's what it looks like. A little bit fancier than OSB. On our end, it's not really more difficult. It's faster to paint. So I think that's going to add a little value for the customer. We've done OSB and shiplap, nonstop. We've even done cedar. I think the beadboard will be a nice in-between because the shiplap is much more labor intensive and expensive than OSB. So I think beadboard will be a little bit fancier. Let me show you the next little project. I'm going to answer a couple of questions on this garage that we've been getting. So this is a 2x20 foot shipping container garage. So we cut those interior walls out and then these bolt together. So we've got a 1/2 inch 3M. It's called a D-shaped gasket. That gasket goes in between here. And these aren't butted all the way up. That top gap ends up being about 3/16 of an inch. So we put that 1/2 inch D-shaped rubber gasket in there, and then we Sikaflex the top and the sides as well. So this thing's never gonna leak. The roof on containers do not pool water, they're flat. There's no place for the water to pool. So it's just not, there's not a leakage concern. We've done a lot of these. In the 40-foot, we cant the roof up a little bit and add a post because it's such a long spread, but you could jump up and down on the ceiling of this right now and it's really not gonna move much. If you're in a high snow area, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to triangulate this a little bit or add a 2-inch post up there. You know, because snow weighs like, I think like 8 pounds a square foot or something crazy, depending on the moisture content. But anyway, this gives you a really nice 16-foot deep garage. If your car is bigger than 16 foot, you can come in the end, or we can add one more container in the middle. So if you got a lake house or farm storage or whatever, this is like an instant, no property tax. I'm gonna preface that with depends where you are situation, but containers do not go down in value, so you can always pick this up, break it apart. That's why we don't weld them, we bolt them. So it's always going to go up in value, but the where containers really shine is you have zero maintenance on the exterior of this. I mean, maybe in 10 years, touch up the paint a little bit. If this were a shed with siding, shingles, it's prone to hail, wind. You know, every 10 years, you're going to be redoing shingles, you're going to be redoing sealant, trim, siding. Nothing is going to hurt this ever. These containers, even the used containers that are 15 years old, when they arrive to our lot, are still in great shape, and they've been in nothing but salt water their entire life, getting beat up by forklifts and cargo. So these one-trippers, once they land in a North American climate, I'm like confident in saying will last forever with zero maintenance. And so that's why you build out of containers, is because the exterior is so strong and so maintenance free. Another little thing we did is we moved those vents up so they're still functional. So we chopped the top of the vent off and moved those up so it still looks factory and all of your vents are functional. And this ivory color is really great for staying cool in the summer. And like I said, you can always add a third container in between if you've got a boat or something to get a little bit more length this way. So pretty cool. Done a couple videos on this office over here with these shutters, and I've mentioned the black windows, but the black windows look really good with the slate. And I had some people mention, hey, we'd want to lock these shutters. There's the outside locking D-ring. I call these D-rings. They're factory to the containers, but we like to use them for accessories. So you can lock that shut with a padlock. And I had some people mention, well, you can remove these bolts or cut the padlock. Yeah, sure. It's not invincible. We're not going to put a padlock in the inside, but there is a window here. So they're going to have to break the window too. At that point, if they're that determined to get in, I guess there's really no stopping them. If you put a lock on the inside, they can still just cut a hole in the container or cut the bar off the container. I mean, containers are about as secure as you can get, but if someone wants to break into something, I guess there's really no stopping them if they're that determined. But for me, this is about as secure as it gets. So last thing I will show you guys, it's getting dark out here, but I just acquired another little Toyota forklift. This is a 2019, and so this will kind of replace our smaller black one. This one has side shift and has front auxiliary hydraulics. Again, the electric forklift, I've done a couple videos on this, and I'll do a separate video. But 5 years, the owner gives up on the lead acid batteries, doesn't want to spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to replace them. So I got two 48 volt, and a lot of these Toyotas are 36 volt until just recently they went up to 48 volt, which 48 volts nicer because you can get more amperage through a thinner gauge wire. But we got two 150 amp hour lithium batteries. Yes, they don't weigh anything, but they're going to last forever. So if you want to get into these, saving these electric forklifts, generally you're going to be left with this, and I call that an Anderson plug. You see them on aircraft a lot, but you're going to get that Anderson plug, and then let's say about 10 feet of red and 10 feet of black 4/0 gauge cable. It's pretty high dollar for the good stuff. So you're going to mate that to the Anderson connector, and you're going to have those cables come through right here. You can place those lithium batteries anywhere. I place them right here with the post going this way because they don't weigh enough to really add any weight that we need. If you're concerned, this is about a 6,000 pound lifting capacity forklift. My other Toyota, so I think it weighs about 6,000 pounds. My larger Toyota with no counterweights in it lifted this off the bed of the truck no problem. Uh, and I've said this before, but if you need to use the forklift at its absolute capacity, so if this is a 6,000 pound forklift and you're going to be lifting 6,000 pounds 14 feet in the air for safety, I highly recommend you add the counterweight back. That's equivalent to the lead acid that was removed. The lead acid weigh anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, somewhere in there. So when you put the lithium in, you're missing the counterweights. Replace those if you need it. We don't need it. Everything we're lifting is just a pallet out of a truck, or we lift a shipping container up. So we're not near the capacity of these forklifts. We're not lifting anything heavy overhead. But again, we'll get the batteries in this and I'll shoot another video on it. So these electric forklifts are just freaking awesome. You have no fuel, no maintenance. You just get in it, click it on and go. So highly recommend those. And this is a 53 footer we just wrapped up. We cut all these holes in it. We painted it. The big part of these is installing all stainless floor. So we removed all the factory wood floor for fire reasons. And today we welded underneath and got all that floor welded down to the structure. But this is ready to go. So we're going to put this on the 53-foot chassis for the customer. And so we've wrapped that up. And here's the chassis for it. And what's interesting about container chassis is that the container just gets locked down at 4 corner posts to the trailer, and that's it. All the strength of containers are in the corner posts of the container. So as always, there's our office there. I've done a couple videos on that. Go check those out. Another 20-foot high cube with a walk door in it. We're always doing walk doors. So as always, let me know if you got any questions or anything, and thanks for watching.